Hello. Welcome. I'm going to do a little reading today. It's the 23rd of January. We've got a full moon coming up in 2 days. I can say that now because I'm not wrong. I apparently have been waiting for this full moon for weeks because I thought it was here when it wasn't on the new moon. I'm going to do just a very brief talking intro, so if you do not want to listen to that, then there will be a timestamp in the description box that you can go to just click on the reading. First thing I want to talk about is this picture. I'm going to drop it into the video so that you can see it, but it's an Apple News story. I don't subscribe, by the way, but it was a story about Lauren Sanchez, who is getting a lot of press because of Jeff Bezos. Lauren Sanchez is one of those people that I'm just like, did they even exist before like 3 years ago? Did somebody just create her in a lab? But the picture in particular, it's sort of glorifying her, I'm a wifey billionaire, and people are curious about her. Not only is it just the normal news, it's Apple News. You have to pay to learn about Lauren Sanchez. And the picture has her lying on this spiral staircase, which if you are not well versed in signs, symbols, semiotics, and the subconscious, if you Google, what does a spiral staircase mean in my dream? I've had many dreams of spiral staircases, and one of them, I was standing on a spiral staircase that was ascending, and I saw different versions of myself standing on the staircase. It was very symbolic for obvious reasons, like ascending, becoming someone new. And so with Lauren here, we see her going down. She's on a downward spiral, quite literally. It looks like freaking basement of Hawkins' lab. It's not where I'd want to be, but keep in mind, she's one of the wealthiest women, or she's married to one of the wealthiest men on the planet. And don't come at me. I know that she's a real person. I'm just telling you how my mind works. I know that she's a real person and she had her own success before him. How would they even meet if she wasn't, a little bit successful? Don't answer that. We have Tinder Gold Star member now. But anyway, one of the wealthiest women, and we're seeing her in this dungeon-esque place. I just found it really bizarre as far as hidden in plain sight stuff. I don't know if I like this yet. I redid everything. I put different shelves up. We'll see. I'm not sure if I like it. It's too busy, maybe. All right. And then, the other thing is that I saw another news clip. I'll put the screenshot in about defective airplane stuff. A flight didn't take off because somebody noticed missing bolts. Okay. And then a few weeks ago, we had the Alaskan Airlines plane with the side panel that blew completely off mid-flight. And they had to fly with a hole in the side of the plane. If you didn't hear about it, Google it. One young child even had his shirt ripped off of his body because of the pressure loss, and it flew out of the aircraft, and somebody lost a big teddy bear, flew out of the aircraft. No people flew out of the aircraft, but the side of the plane did. And I have a theory about this too, okay? So this is just my personal theory. Everything I state is for entertainment purposes. It sort of seems to me like it's unsafety around flying, and we already experienced something a few years ago where people were, all planes grounded, do not go outside, do not intermingle. But if you go all the way back to June, I think it was the first video I posted from Italy, but it was talking about travel and how stagnation is the bane of existence. And my theory is that there's going to be a little bit more stuff surfacing around, it's not safe to travel. Don't, because when people travel, they see smiling faces. They see human interaction that is not the type of stuff that you see on the news. They see beautiful landscapes. They connect with people, places, and energy that they would not connect with otherwise. So there's something there as far as oh no, people, the planes are defective, interesting, because there are so many stories at any given point on the worldly stage, and we can choose to focus on whichever ones we want. When there starts to be a pattern, there's a reason. Now, a person arguing me might be like, well, of course they need to put that on the news. That's important. That's the type of stuff that people need to know. Okay. Well, there's a lot of stuff that has not gone reported that I would want to know about. So that's not, in my opinion, a valid argument. Yeah, and then my last comment has to do with what I talked about in my 2024 forecast, talking about technology and the speeds of things and accessibility and the power grid getting overloaded and energies kind of coming into the space. If you do have prophetic insight, you will be feeling this too. I'm not the only person on the internet talking about this or sensing into it. You can come on up, honey. Oh, there's stuff on the stairs. He can't come up. You can do it. No, he can't. Okay, hang on. I'm going to go let the dog up because he wants to be with me. Sorry, hang on. You need to come up now, Noodles? Here, you can do it. I'll move this stuff for you. Oh, sweetheart. You see? Now it's clear. You can come. You want to, Mom? Come on, boo-boo. Oof. Okay. Bless you. He's like, oh, you cleaned up here. He has 2 beds. Not 1, but 2. Wherever he wants to be. Whew. Yeah, so I talked about that, right? With technology slowing down or things becoming inaccessible or whatever it is. And then I noticed, it took me, it's been a few weeks, but some stuff's just been loading slowly. If I try to watch videos on YouTube that are not mine, because you don't have to watch ads to watch my videos, they don't load. They don't load. They're slow. They don't load. To the point where I Googled it. I was like, why are all the advertisements loading so slowly? Because this is like me turning off my internet, moving towards the side of my house where my modem is, being like, why are these things not loading? And turns out YouTube is doing something around like ad blockers. So there is a difference. It is slower. I just find it ridiculous because it's like, already? No, don't slow down yet. But yeah, those are the 3 most recent things that I've clocked and I wanted to share. So I guess my timestamp will be 7:30. And we'll get right into the card reading. Of course, I put my candle out. So I'd like to pull energy. It's the moon and the Empress. I'd like to pull energy for the full moon that's coming up. It's a big one. If you are a cardinal sign or you have cardinal placements, Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, congratulations. You're about to enter, and it's not like, oh, my life is changing immediately. No, it's a long burn of a 20-year, 18 to 26-year cycle. Actually, don't trust me on that. I'm not an astrologer. These numbers, they come in and out of my brain. I believe, though, yes, the next 20 years, a new beginning marked by success that is not stricken with the same type of karmic challenges that those signs or people who have placements with those signs have been through since 2008 to 2023. I can attest to this. A hard go for cardinal signs. So that's exciting. And Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius for 226 years. Let's take a look at this. This is going to be our current energy. It's the 3 of Cups. Lovely. Reunion, celebration, coming together, harmony, socialization. There's a lot of things that are happening right now in the energy that I am being reminded of some energy that happened a few weeks ago where I was, this is a couple months ago at this point maybe. I was talking about how it's like, I almost don't have to do anything in order to be in direct opposition to somebody. It's almost like my very essence is offensive to them. And it has to do with like standing in your truth and how people do not like that. And we're used to, or a lot of people are used to, the person who they're engaging with possessing some kind of, socially acceptable mirroring where like if somebody's going for a certain kind of reaction and they're used to getting it from somebody and you do not provide that, then they're taken aback. I could tell a story. I'll tell it really quickly. Okay, there's a reason why I've never mentioned the nature of my actual job and my work on the YouTube channel, and that's because it feels conflict of interest-y to me, and it just is not appropriate. Nothing I ever say or do on this YouTube channel is affiliated with the company that I work for, the people that are there. So disclaimer, but I will just say I'm an interior design consultant and I help people do remodeling on their homes. And I was at a meeting for our countertop manufacturer, and there was a man talking about quartz production, okay? And he was talking about sustainability in the quartz industry and how there's a bunch of different things, right? Silica dust is very, it can be fatal if it's inhaled. And the water cycle with quartz production, the energy involved, the unsustainable mining practices, or rehabilitating the landscapes where they mine things from. Not that quartz is a mined stone, it's not, it's man-made. Granite is what is mined, but we were having the whole conversation. So he's presenting, about 40 or 50 people in the audience, and he gets to a point where he's talking about this stuff, and he's saying, like, nobody in the industry is doing this. This has not been a conversation before now. These are the benchmarks that we're meeting. It's going to be 100% recycled. It's going to be this, that. And I had to raise my hand. And ask him a few things, okay? Because my dad, the nature of my dad's work, I grew up in Vermont. My dad has always been an energy renewable analyst and consultant for residential and corporate, solutions. He's done work all over the world, all over the country, all over the world. And he really believes in his work. And I've always been proud of my dad for doing something that he believes in. He's always been very passionate about the environment and protecting our resources and trying to find other types of solutions that aren't as damaging, right? And the big thing on the world stage is that, where's the money in that? Oil people are not liking that. So I remember being a kid and we had moved to Vermont. It was 1997 and there was no furniture in my bedroom. I had a tiny little room that I grew up in. It was my bedroom growing up, and we were standing in there, and he was telling me, he said, one day with the technology where it's at now, this is 1997, I was 3. We were standing in my room, and we didn't have any furniture, so I was sleeping in a sleeping bag that night on the floor. And he was telling me that they were going to have things like almost like ribbon for a package. It's going to be flat, but it's going to be a screen, and you're going to be able to put it on the wall. And he was explaining the concept of flat screen TVs to me, and I was just mind blown. I mean, we all were, right, back then, about what was coming. Now it's no big deal. But anyway, at this quartz conversation roundtable, I was like, and I should not have said this because I sounded like a little brat, but I did say, my dad works in this industry, so I'm familiar with it. And I just want to point that out, because when you say no one's having this conversation, that's not the case. People have been having this conversation for 20 to 25 years. And there's been a lot of back and forth around federal policy and how to enforce it. Different countries are doing different things. At this point, quartz is illegal in Australia. And this man's telling us that it's the cutting edge. I don't want to put this here. Put this here. No. Okay, so I was saying, is it 100% recycled, or are you meeting a benchmark in order to be able to say that it is? Because there are technicalities, right? Sales is sales. And I'm a salesperson. And I didn't ask this to call him out, right? Because he had already said multiple times, he said, someone else is supposed to be here doing this presentation today. Tip to the wise, if you're not prepared for what you're about to go do not tell everybody that. Multiple times. Do not tell your audience that you're not the right person. I feel like that goes without having to explain it. But he had let us know that he was not confident in his material and he was not supposed to be there that day. That's fine. Here I come asking him questions that he has no idea how to answer, and I could have not done that to him, but I wanted to know. And yeah, come to find out, he was like, well, there's a point system. I already knew that. And we have to be able to, do this much. So it's going to be 20% of this kind of material. It's a hybridized mineral blend at this point. But it's not 100% recycled. And I'm a middleman, okay? Between the clientele and the manufacturer, if I don't have my information correct, then I make a fool out of myself. I give people false information because I wasn't taught better. I was asking these questions, but it completely dismantled him and whatever, semblance of confidence he had to present. And I had asked questions to the previous presenter as well. And, had a great chat with that guy. He gave me his card and I was like, I have more questions for you. I'm going to email you. Great talk. And then the other guy comes up and it was not a great chat. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people in this space. And throughout the rest of his presentation, he kept deferring to me and being like, does that make sense? He'd point to me, be like, yep. Thanks for checking. I'm not the only person here. It was mildly humiliating, to be honest, because I didn't mean to shake him. But, I mean, whose fault is that? Don't come and give a presentation if you do not know what you're talking about. Do not tell everybody that you don't know what you're talking about. And, I mean, if you do have somebody in the audience that has questions about what it is that you're talking about and you don't know how to answer those questions, you know, we'll follow up later. That's fine. But, and I can be pretty sassy, but just please know, trust me when I say that I talk in a kind and controlled manner in person. You know, I wasn't like, well, you said, like, none of that. I can be a professional sometimes. So I just feel like there's a lot of tension really in communications or in being able to not take things personally, because there's a lot of sensitivities. It's very strange. It has to do with the timeline splitting, has to do with people kind of reckoning with their own circumstances and tendencies around projection. I'm going through a lot of clearing to that extent. And so we're around people, we're talking, and this also bodes well for, like, you know, new things coming in and things that we are going to be able to celebrate. Okay. But let me pull on the hidden energy. Okay. We're going to take from the top. Hidden energy, energy to embrace, energy to release. Hidden energy is justice. Yeah. I think that some of the strangeness around communication or sensitivity or tension, for however it's manifesting in your life and your interactions, it has to do with the karmic scales, right? And energy balancing out. Okay. And what I talked about in my video from the other day is that we kind of bump up against these moments in the present. You know, we circle the track again, and with Wheel of Fortune energy, what's our energy to embrace? 10 of Pentacles. Great. Moving towards stability. Energy to release is the Page of Swords, that antsy, restless thing. We're in a time where we need to become comfortable in the uncomfortable and sit down, sit the seat of our soul, sit our hearts down into that, what's it called? The soul seat, the heart space, right? Connect. I will say this too. If I ever choose to speak up in front of a group of people, I take a couple beats first. You know, I'm not just like, oh, I have something. I sit and I'm like, do I really need to say this? Is it coming from the right place? Is it true? Is it honest? Am I coming from my heart? Because I mean, if you, people who work with me, like on calls with everybody, it's like, God damn it. Like, I wish you would just shut the F up. Me too. I can't, because I'm not hearing anybody else ask these questions. And I know how much room there is for misunderstandings in my line of work, and I'm protecting my butt. So I get it, right? But as long as we can connect with where we're coming from when we speak, then you're allowed to go forth and do that. I think a lot of people just fire off information without checking in, and that comes from this like reactive, like, I'm triggered, I'm going to speak type of thing. What is the biggest, what did I call this? This is hidden energy. What's the biggest challenge right now? What's the biggest challenge right now? Three of Swords. All right, I'm going to shuffle out a card to clarify that, because I'd like some information. Actually, nope, this one was left behind, so we're going to take it. Six of Wands. Okay, so the biggest challenge right now is having some hope that if there are certain things that are causing breakdowns or anxiety or even like full-blown heartbreak, right? Or the loss of friendships or different things falling out of alignment as you move forward on your personal path, there is victory in those losses. And I know that's obviously hard for us to feel when we're in it. I'm going to cut the deck. Yeah, because whatever you've lost, there's new love coming in. There's new friendship coming in. There's new emotional connection coming in. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We need to have faith. Wait, why did I do that? I put my deck back the wrong way. Silly girl. Yeah, let's get one of the Psychic Tarot from John Holland before I conclude. I do have to go, but I wanted to do a quick one because it's been a couple days. Whatever I said before, by the way, about long form readings, that's not permanent. What I said before, if you didn't watch the other video, was I need to take a break from doing like the 2-hour ones. And I do, but I simply have 2 hours worth of information at times. So I'm never going to be able to cut that out entirely. And again, if you didn't see the other video, this is not on my website, but I'm offering a 2024 forecast individual reading if you would like that. It's a FaceTime, Zoom, or Skype, or Microsoft Teams, whatever you want to use. It's a video call where I give you a quarterly rundown for your personal energies. So if you're interested in that, email me, or any of the other readings. They're on my website. Another thing I added to the website was a recommendations page, and I haven't filled out the second two categories, but I put a list of books that I think are really worth looking into if you're interested in the types of messaging I provide, or if you're spiritual, or if you like alchemy and psychology and philosophy, and the energetics and the science behind the human energy field. There's a lot of good resources on that page, so you can find it by going to my website. Going to the tab on the right, like the hamburger menu, and it's called Recs, Recommendations. I've only done the books so far, but I'm going to do TV shows and movies too. I'm actually like having to pause because I'm like, I like some pretty silly, childish TV shows and movies. But if you've watched my videos, then you know why that is. It's because I'm all about inner child healing, advocating for my inner child, keeping her at the forefront so that she doesn't go sulk in a corner, because when we do that and have the division between the inner child and the healed adult, that's when our reactivity comes out. All tantruming adults are in fact unhealed inner children. We can't get away from this, you guys. Every time I use this deck, look, beautiful green. Every time I use this deck, it's the heart chakra. So let me recap this really quickly, okay? I said, what's our biggest challenge? I pulled out the Three of Swords, heartbreak, loss, endings. I said, clarify that. And I got the Six of Wands, victory. Why? Because Ace of Cups, new love, new offer, new connection. And then we get the heart chakra. So, I mean, this reading is kind of, we've got different camps. We've got like friendship, and then like work and relations and connecting with people and, communication. Let me get a card to clarify the communication. But then we also have this emotional thing. So they're separate, but they're both connected in the light of the full moon. I believe this one's called the wolf moon. Totally apropos. No, that's coyotes. Yeah, I live in a space where I'm across from a pretty big field, and at night there's like a little gang of coyotes, and they'll be out there like yipping and stuff, and it's super eerie. I love the sound of it though. I'm like, I feel you, my brothers. I want to come out there and do that too, because you're looking at the moon. Coyote energy. Let's get an animal spirit. But let's just clarify the energy around communication and stuff. Fulfillment of wishes. I mean, yeah, that's another card that we've been seeing a lot from this deck. It's funny. You'd think that this deck only has 15 cards in it for my uses and purposes. Not going to talk about it because it's good news, right? As the eternal optimist, I only do readings to come back on and just reaffirm that everything is in fact going to be okay. But here's what's at the bottom of the deck when I take it out of the box, okay? Setting healthy boundaries and armadillo spirit again. It's been such a theme for 2023, and it's going to continue to be. But if you've done work in 2023 to kind of reestablish your boundaries, or your groups, your connections, help yourself feel more aligned and connected to the people that you experience mutually reciprocal and beneficial energy flow, and people who you feel like you can be your true self around, or at least like have a couple people. I used to say this, I don't say it so much anymore, but if you don't have that, email me. I like to just chat. I'm a super busy person, but I like to have a lot of things to do because I sort of have an ADHD thing going on, unmedicated, because I like to be holistic and I accept my brain as it was designed, even though it's got some quirks to it. And I struggle with that a little bit in terms of, getting things done in the right order and procrastination and all that. But that said, if I ever need a small break from something and I need to procrastinate, I will do so by writing you a massive email. So I just invite everybody to email me if you haven't in the past. I love it when people do. And even if I don't respond, immediately, I will. So what is our biggest, the first animal is going to be our biggest teacher. And the second animal is going to be our biggest cautionary mentor. I never speak like this, so this is a cool way to do it. I mean, I never ask for animals in this way. All right, our biggest teacher. It's like I'm psychic or something. Wolf moon. I was talking about the coyotes yipping. Turn knowledge into wisdom. So yeah, there's something else about this and the dog in this deck is be loyal to who you are. it has to do with holding a bunch of stuff at once. It feels pretty heavy, doesn't it? Being true to yourself, holding the people that you love with love, holding your truth with love. It's a lot of stuff, but as long as we're united in all that stuff by love, you cannot go wrong. Even the people that you upset will understand eventually, right? Because the upset at the end of the day is coming from them. If you are doing so with love, whatever it is you're doing. That's our greatest teacher right now, turning our knowledge into our wisdom, right? Not having to say everything to be known or understood. Embodiment is enough. This is our biggest cautionary word. And the animal spirit is like a mentor for our energy right now. Ugh, love it. Elephant spirit, learn from the past. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times with, good old Three of Swords energy, it has to do with lamenting over what has not worked out, but you cannot go backwards. You can only go forwards. I have a lot of stuff that I'd like to be talking about in the next few weeks once I kind of sort through some other stuff that I've been sorting through. Blah, blah, blah. It's always like this around psychedelics and the brain, because I've made some very interesting discoveries. Around psychedelics, but I'm also going to be talking about like how I think there's a negative side. It's not just like little hippie, everybody should microdose because it can help decrease anxiety and depression and unite the hemispheres of your brain. No, I'm going to talk about LSD. I'm going to talk about the past. I'm going to talk about, not in full-blown detail, but some of the things that I went through where I kind of felt like I broke my brain accidentally and had to put myself back together. Because I never understood the energetics of that before. And in October, I started to piece some things together because of the things that I was having come back online for myself. So that's coming up. But yeah, I mean, the past for everybody, there's always going to be nuggets of sensation that we can extract from it that make us feel the way that we did then, or make us feel the way that the person that we were interacting with did then. And we didn't feel that at that time, but they did. And there can be like a lot of shame and resentment towards the self when you reach certain points along your integration path that have to do with that. And the only way forward is to just learn. It's just to learn from it. A lot of people suppress those moments and push them away because they don't want to see them in their full truth. They don't want to acknowledge that they made somebody else feel a certain way. I have had a lot of owning up to do in my life to the things that I've done wrong, because I've done a lot of horrible things, making a lot of bad decisions, doing things where I was being selfish, where I did not think about how those actions were going to affect other people. And I do want to talk about psychedelics in this same vein, but that's for another day. But, long and short of it, times where your girl was running through 4 lanes of traffic, getting tackled to the ground while like tripping balls. That's not good. That's a tame example. That's just certain things that I'll never be able to share publicly on the channel. Of course, I can tell stories for days. If you want to know, email me. But it's more about the lessons that have come from that and how I feel as a result of it. One more to round this off. Love it. It's Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility. Yeah, I mean, I haven't said it in a few readings, but just keep in mind that your manifestation potential, your attachment to your emotional state, moment to moment, it can change your life radically. Even if you don't do anything, even if you don't look like you're doing anything different in your daily grind or routine, if you're attaching to like the ease of being able to take deep breaths, like, I'm still alive. Everything's okay right here, right now, right? Just mindfulness around not projecting negativity out into the future and manifesting a timeline that's less than you deserve and less than you want and less aligned than what your soul is trying to access now going forward. It's within your rights, but what is this? Is it a famous painting? I saw an animation that's turned into a static image. It's very interesting, actually. It's a painting of Napoleon when he crosses something about the French Revolution. I'll drop the painting in so you can see it. I don't know what this has to do with anything. I see that painting, but then I saw a bunch of people banging down a door, okay? It's like And that's a good thing because it has to do with the piñata imagery that I talked about from the reading from last week, where it's like blessings. It feels like this looming thing where the cable's going to break and it's going to fall and smush us. But in fact, it's suspended by justice. It's coming to you for a reason. It's opening up because it contains what it is that you deserve. And you can continue amplifying what it is that you deserve by how you show up and how you give with your energy. All right, and with that, I'm gonna go, and I hope that everybody has a fabulous day. And if you're, recently subscribed to my YouTube channel, then thank you. I really appreciate that. Any likes or comments or shares of the videos is valued. Even if you do not like me or my videos, thumbs down it, because it will still circulate it to somebody who is less like you, I guess, right? I don't know how it works. I try not to care so much because I'm gonna be doing this sitting here regardless, but it's hard not to think about and pay attention to when I have the analytics page and stuff. Every time I sign on to the analytics page, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to. This says tend to the small things. It's mouse spirit, so could be a message for somebody. Make sure that you're not skipping over important things or forgetting little details and stuff. But I have more messages, but I'm just going to come back in maybe later today. I'll post another one. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm sending out a lot of love. I hope you're doing well managing in these strange times. There's a lot of positive things on the horizon. It is a little bit of a liminal space. So with that, be well. Bye.